Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here with a review of the TCL 10L. Now it's a sharp looking device. I've already done my unboxing and first impressions. I've even reviewed the TCL 10 Pro. But today's a special day because today is reserved for the 10L and it's $249 MSRP. It has a lot to offer. It's got a great display, 6.53 inch LCD, got a lot under the hood, a lot on the outside as well with the 4-camera setup on the back and this cool holographic effect that the finish has on the phone. So lots of things to talk about and we're gonna dive right into that. But I do wanna say, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can get updates when new videos come out. Now, let's talk about the TCL 10L. All right, so we have the TCL 10L. Now it comes in two different colors. There's this blue one and it also comes in a white version as well. I've seen both of them. They both look great, but I only have the blue one right now. Now I actually got to look at this a long time ago, back in Las Vegas at CES in January when they debuted them. And I'm glad that I finally got my hands on it because it really is an impressive device. Now, not only does it have two different colors, but there is a wide range of things that you wouldn't expect to be in a $250 phone. One, a relatively high series, 6 series Snapdragon. So it's got the Snapdragon 665 in here. Now the 660 was a great one. I love that processor. It's in the BlackBerry Key 2. It's in a lot of other phones. This one is slightly more improved and it's pushing a 4,500 milliamp battery, which means you're gonna get all day battery performance. It's gonna last you till the next day. Even if you're doing a lot of things like watching video, play some games, mixed play on this is fantastic. You're gonna crush well over 6 hours screen on time, no problem. Now, some other things it has going for it that you wouldn't expect. 6.5 inch full HD display, and look at this, bam, unlocked it with my face unlock. So it's got face unlock. It's also got the fingerprint sensor. It's not under the screen, which I wouldn't really expect at this price point, but what's really refreshing about it is it works pretty darn quick. So I'm pressing it right now. Ta-da! Whoop, there we go. So the fingerprint sensor works well, facial recognition works well, and they're committed to bi-monthly security updates, which we can't even get out of LG and some other manufacturers, maybe by the name of Samsung, but pretty darn good for straight out of the gate. Now, Snapdragon 665, 6 gigabytes of RAM. Shoot, the Pixel 3a XL last year only came with 4. So you're getting 6 gigabytes of RAM. You're getting a quad camera array here on the back. So you're getting a 48 megapixel primary shooter. You're getting an 8 megapixel wide angle lens. You're getting a 2 megapixel macro lens and then a 2 megapixel depth sensor so you can take legitimate selfie shots. Now, it's not that software stuff that or the fake selfie effect that you get with some of the cheaper like $100, $200 Android phones. This ain't it. This is real bokeh effect. It's real depth sensor. Now on the front, you have a 16 megapixel selfie camera, which actually takes pretty darn good selfies, and you can take portrait selfies. So pretty cool there as well. Now they recently had a software update on here. If you got one on day one launch, make sure you update it. If you're just now getting one, they had a maintenance update where they pushed out the May security update. So we should be getting another one here soon because June, July. So I would expect another one here in July. But there were some other improvements that kind of cleaned up the camera, made it look even more sharp than it already is. And it's really impressive. I mean, for a $250 phone, I don't know that you're gonna find another phone out there that takes pictures as good as this one. And in so many different ways. You get wide angle, you get regular shots, you get the macro photography. Macro photography, if you don't know what that means you can take pictures of things really close up, which you can't do with a normal camera because it starts getting blurry. So just imagine you get things really close to your face, they start getting blurry. This camera, the way it's set up is it can take pictures up to only like 3 centimeters away. And you'll see here in the camera, I've got some snapshots on that. USB-C. Now it does only have one speaker on the bottom, but the speaker sound is actually pretty good. It's even got the headphone jack up top. Now, one other thing I want to bring to your attention is the smart key. So over here on the side, we have a dedicated button, and I'm gonna show you something that's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna press it once, and it's gonna pull up Google Assistant for me. Now I'm gonna press it twice. It's gonna turn my camera on for me. Now, last one, I'm gonna hold it down. Oh, sorry, it's in the camera. Whoop. I'm gonna hold it down, bam. We got the twin headlights on the back to turn the flashlight on. Now, that's how I have mine set up, but you can go in and program it yourself for an individual press, so the short press, a long press, and even a double press. So that's something that you don't get in a lot of phones. Like if you have the Google Assistant, like the Pixel phone, you can squeeze it. Okay, great. If you have like the LG G7, the G8, you can press the Google Assistant button on the side, but that's all it does. This one, you can program it for up to 3 different things. So that's pretty cool. Now, like I said, it's got a 6.53-inch display on it. It's running Android 10, full HD+, so pretty good resolution there, and it's got over 390 pixels per inch, which is very good. And it has a 91% screen to body ratio. So that screen basically stretches from end to end. Now, one other thing you can see here is the selfie camera, little punch out hole camera right there in the top left. Now, that's a pretty good spot for it to be. It's not over here where it kind of intrudes. And I kind of like these punch out cameras or hole punch or whatever you want to call them, peep cameras. I don't like the little teardrop notch that they have in the center of a lot of other Androids, so I like that it's over there. Now, performance-wise, you can do pretty much anything you want with this, especially because it's running a bare bones version of Android 10. Now, they've committed to at least one operating system upgrade. That's not something you traditionally get with a phone that costs less than $500, or even $400, or even $300. But at $249, you're guaranteed to get Android 11 on this. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get it as soon as like Google and all the other ones get it that are, bigger and more notable for having those features, but they are going to give you Android 11 on here. So I don't want you to think day one. If it does show up on day one, that's fantastic. But seeing as they're kind of new to this game, I would maybe expect a little bit later. But what's great is it's very lightly skinned. It does have their Next Vision display on here. Now, here's one thing. If I said TCL to you, and what do you think of TCL when I say that name? You'd probably say, oh, they've got great TVs. Yeah, they do. I've got one of them. I am a very big fan of TCL TVs. What you probably wouldn't have expected is to say that they're making phones. They've actually been in the phone business for quite a while, and now they're making them under their own name. If you've heard of Alcatel, if you've heard of BlackBerry Mobile, that's just some of the stuff they've been doing behind the scenes for a while, but they've decided to make their own line of phones. And the 10 series is pretty darn top notch. Now, I'm saying all that to segue into talking about the display. So 6.53 inch, but their Next Vision display. It kind of tunes the screen to where you get the best possible picture. So if you turn on the Next Vision display, it's kind of a feature in that you can turn on and off. Now, it does use a little bit more power, but you get the HDR display. You get better contrast, better blacks, better all-around picture, and it looks really nice. So if you're gonna watch Netflix, you're gonna watch Amazon, you're gonna do streaming media, if you're gonna watch YouTube, basically anything related to watching videos on here is a really pleasant experience. So they've done really good with that, and all of it in this nice tight frame. Now, it's very well balanced, it feels good, it looks great. And like I said, there's the white color, there's also this blue color. It looks really good. If I were to show this off to you in public and say, all right, what do you think this costs? Probably you wouldn't say $250, because typically, if you see a phone that looks this nice, it is quite a bit more expensive. So TCL has done a great job with the aesthetics, with the camera, with the display, all of that stuff that they've been building upon for all these years. And yeah, you just heard of TCL maybe a couple of years ago. They were kind of bigger overseas. They've really made a big push here in the United States over the last couple of years. And now with their own phone line, or phone brand line, whatever you want to call it, I'm hoping to see some more of these in the future. So one other thing I want to talk about with this is the camera. Now, I talked to you about it earlier, 48 megapixel, 8 megapixel, all the megapixels. How does that translate into reality? Well, here's some camera samples that I have. I took a couple of selfies, I took some pictures outside, I took some macro shots, I took a wide angle shot or two, and one thing that I really like about the TCL phones, especially this phone, whenever it comes to taking pictures, if you look at like a Samsung phone, you look at one of their pictures, you can almost always pick it out of a lineup because it's oversaturated, which looks nice. It's visually appealing. The blues look really bright. The greens just pop out at you. All of those things. And then if you get an iPhone, it looks kind of bland, kind of more on the yellowy side, very natural looking, but definitely not saturated. This right here, I think falls in a nice place in the middle. Like if you go out on a clear day and you take a picture of the sky, the blue is gonna look really good. It may look a little bit more blue than what it naturally is, but it's gonna look sharp and it's not gonna look fake. Now, the contrast is good, the sharpness is good, the bokeh is nice. I think the term that a lot of people use in the camera world is buttery. It's very smooth, it's very not over processed, so you can really take a look at the image and then it's just nicely kind of faded out around it and that blurred bokeh effect to make it look really good. And then with the macro shots, up close and personal, you can see here, I got like the sunflower, I got some other flowers, several things that I took pictures of, and you can look and you can see the very intimate details inside of the picture. It's really, really nice. And that's not something that you get in a lot of different phones. So I'm glad that they incorporated that into there. So I think that they've done a really good job with this phone, balancing out the hardware, because typically when you get a $200 phone, you're not getting a 6 series Snapdragon processor, you're getting like a 4 series, or you're getting a MediaTek. They went the extra mile to give you a 665 complemented with 6 gigabytes of RAM, which not only is good for multitasking, but it makes it last longer. You're gonna have more longevity with that because it's gonna be able to push stuff for even longer, especially when the RAM requirements, if they go up with Android 11 or other applications that you want in the future. Now, as far as gaming performance, you can play PUBG on here. I wouldn't really suggest playing Fortnite. It's not gonna run very good. I know that they have it where you can play games if they're not supported now, because used to be you couldn't play if it wasn't a supported device, but now it's in the Android store. You can install it, but definitely wouldn't buy this for gaming. But PUBG works fine. You can play Call of Duty Mobile, no problem. You can play Boom Beach if you're still playing that. That's what I play. But overall, for $250, I don't know of anything else on the market that's out there right now that's gonna compete with this. And if it does, it's probably only gonna work for like a year and then it's gonna get left in the dust. So we're talking about bi-monthly security updates. We're talking about great processing power. We're talking about plenty of memory. We're talking about Android 11 in the future, and you get this great setup with the cameras on the back. So if I seem a little bit excited about it, I am, because I haven't seen anything like this at this price point before. It's genuinely impressive. And of course, it's lightly skinned. It's got Android 10 on it. You've got all the wonderful swipe gestures and everything that goes along with it. This is a phone that me, somebody who typically uses like a high-end iPhone, a high-end Samsung phone, I can use this and it doesn't bother me. I've picked up $100, $200 phones before. I'm like, yeah, this is really good for the price, but I don't see myself as somebody who could carry this. This one right here, I could carry and use on a day-to-day basis with no problem. Yeah, it doesn't have an IP certification. Whoopity-doo. It doesn't have wireless charging. I don't really care anyway. It's got Quick Charge 3.0. You're good to go. It's got a 4,500 milliamp battery. Does it have an OLED panel? No, but I don't need that for $250. So if you ask me if this phone's good, I think it is. If you ask me if it's worth it, I definitely think it's worth it. And if it's something that you should consider, definitely take a look at it. So this is not a sponsored video. I'm not being paid for this. I'm not being compensated in any way, shape, or form. But if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I care about value. You know that I care about performance. And when value and performance meet in the middle, you get something solid like this. So that's all I've got on my review of the TCL 10L. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comments section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, like I said in the beginning, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you get updates when new videos come out. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.